good? What's good, my fellow steamologists? It's your boy, Mr. VIQUEZ, and today I got you guys a special vlog. I interviewed Mr. Ziertul, the guy who started Bellyrub and Bellyrub Bank, and we had a good conversation. And I hope you guys enjoy this. It's a little different than what I'm normally used to doing, and I thought it was a good to let you guys know a little bit about his operation, his project, and the goals, and how he got into Bitcoin, and all those other things. I hope you guys enjoy it, and holla at me. Please leave a comment in the bottom of the post, and let me know any questions you guys have for him. He'll probably check the post out, and you can ask him whatever you want. Anyway, enjoy the interview. Peace. All right, welcome, everybody. Here goes interview with the man himself, Ziertul, the guy behind Bellyrub Bank. Is it okay if I call you Ziertul?
Yeah. Everybody likes to add an F to it, but yeah, it's Ziertul.
Okay, so quick question. When did you get introduced to Bitcoin?
To Bitcoin, I always like to say 2009, but obviously I wasn't lucky enough to figure it out back then when it first popped out. I guess the main reason and the only reason I knew about Bitcoin was back in 2011. I saw a YouTube video between these two guys. They were at a gas station, and one of them took out his Android phone and he said, "Hey, spot me some gas and I'll pay you in Bitcoin." And that was it. 2011, I saw it. I didn't think much about it. I've heard about BitTorrent. I've used that plenty of times, but Bitcoin, it never basically, it never caught my attention. So that was the first time I heard about it. And then when I got really into it was in 2013. It started going up. The price started going up. The price went all the way up to 1,300. I started buying. I don't know if anybody remembers any of those little USB miners. Started buying those. Bought a bunch of them. Bought about 30 of them. I was mining Bitcoin. It was basically more like a hobby to me because it was fun. I started getting really into Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And yeah, I mean, to start it all off, I was actually mining. I was some of the few that were already mining Bitcoin, back in 2013, and it went all the way up to 1,300, and obviously it went straight down. I started to jump on some of the exchanges, started trading other cryptocurrencies, other Bitcoin assets and things like that. So that's how I got into Bitcoin, and I've been mining ever since. I still mine here and there. I bought a couple of machines. I bought a bunch of GPUs, made my own rigs. I sold them. Big mistake on that point. But yeah, that's how I got myself into Bitcoin. Nobody actually introduced me into it. I just stumbled upon it.
That sounds pretty interesting. I kind of was introduced to it. Via was asking a guy. I wanted to learn how to play poker online, and in New York State they have a lot of regulations, and it's hard. And that's how I got introduced to Bitcoin. Was through a poker app that he told me I could play with Bitcoin. So, all right. So you've been in it for a while.
Yeah.
How long have you been on Steemit, and how did you get introduced to Steemit?
Good question. I made my account a year ago. So I made my account a year ago. I just recently been on it probably for like the past 5 or 6 months or so. But when I signed up, I actually followed what's that guy's name? Craig Grant.
Yeah.
I used to watch that guy's. I mean, I still do. I still still likes what he talks about, even though some people don't like it. But I mean, like he says, it, he's in the flow. But yeah, I got introduced because I was watching one of his YouTube videos, and basically he mentioned Steam It, and I've heard of Steam before. I knew Steam was a coin, um, and then he mentioned Steam It, so I was like, I have to figure out what is all this about. So I went on CoinMarketCap and I saw the price of Steam. It was going to like $3-4 at the time, so I jumped on. I made my account. It was actually back in the day when you made your account. I guess you would have to connect your Facebook or your Reddit, and people and you get, I think it was like $10 worth of Steam Power, and people are taking advantage of it and would make a bunch of Facebook accounts and Reddit accounts and whatever. But yeah, I got introduced by him, not personally, obviously, but he mentioned it, and I jumped on it. I made an account, um, like it is now. I mean, a lot of things have changed with Steam It, but a lot of things have stayed the same. Basically, what I'm talking about is the trending page. Everybody knows all these names, exact same names. Same people always. Which is cool. I'm not bagging on them. I don't care what people say. I mean, they've been hustling since the beginning, which is awesome. But it kind of discouraged me, so I was like, all right, I made a couple of posts and such, and I made a couple of cents here and there, and then I just basically said, all right, move on to the next one, and then we'll go from there to see what happens with Steam. Until recently, I would jump back on it because again, I saw one of Craig Jan's videos again. He was mentioning Steam was at like 7 cents or 11 cents, and he bought a bunch. And then I was like, all right, from $4 to 7 cents to 11 cents, I'm gonna go back in it. And that's where I'm at right now. I'm always looking for all these different coins, all these different ideas, all these blockchains. I'm into BitShares right now, which is the same type of blockchain that Steemit has, which is a graphite blockchain, which is, to me, the delegated proof of stake is by far the most superior, um, I guess, proof of work that you can think of. But yeah, that's how I got into Steemit, and I'm glad I stayed because this video is going places.
That's cool. So you got to buy in at Steam at a very very low price.
Yeah, I made a post a couple of months back. I bought Steemit at a very low price, and when it boomed up again, I bought myself a BMW. So yeah, I
Wow.
mean it's not a fancy one, but I mean I made a post about it.
I think you
Steam
know
bought me.
what. Now that you say that, I think I saw that post couple months back. I've only been on Steam for about almost 4 months now, and I think I did see that post. Something about somebody used Steam to buy a car.
Yeah,
So
yes, Steam bought me a BMW. Man, you've been here for 4 months and you're already killing it. Love it.
yeah, I try to remain consistent. I try to switch it up. I think I'm just a entertainer by nature. I'm an
Yeah,
artist. I
yeah.
love to rap, and I love to be on the stage, and so I think Steam it's a very great place for anybody who is in that type of field. Not necessarily that you have to be an entertainer to be successful on Steam, and I guess just in my lane, I guess it's okay for me. Um, so the reason why I wanted to interview you is because I stumbled upon the belly rub. Okay, and I kind of want you to explain to everyone that watches my videos what belly rub is all about. Like, how did you start it? Um, and I know it's several moving parts to it. You have belly rub, and then there's something also belly rub bank. So if you want to start off by just explaining how you started belly rub bank, why, and so forth.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if you know, or I'm pretty sure it's getting pretty big now. But MSP, the Mini Support Project, I jumped on it when it was. when it was barely starting, jumped on it because at the time, I still am a small user in Steam it, but I wanted to get attraction. I wanted to be part of the community. So I jumped on the Discord. I was introduced. For a couple of weeks, I was there, just chatting about, asking questions, and then I applied to be a greeter. So I made a post about that, and then I decided, and this is actually where it all started, to continue to basically brainstorm a belly rub. Um, bot. So it started with me making a logo for the project itself for MSP, and it's basically I guess you call them menus, a bunch of fish, and all combining into one whale. Which, in my eyes, that's exactly what that account, the menu support, was a bunch of us combining into one big whale, which it started that way because we would actually delegate our power, our steam power, or we would actually have a trail, and we would, if anybody's been in that Discord, you type in a command and then it upvotes your post. So I made a logo about that, and I guess we call it now, or they call it. I called it a minute to will logo, and that's how it started. It has a new logo. It has the same concept as the logo, but it's about the same thing, and that's how I saw it. So I wanted to be more of the community. I wanted to help out, and so then we all know about Rondo Will, when I saw it, it was two SBs or two Steam, and you get an upvote for whatever percent is 1% to 5%, and then he lowered it to 0.5. So I wanted to do something like that, you know. I just didn't know how, and then pops up Booster from Pristikin, and that guy, man, he makes money from everywhere, and he's also a great guy.
Oh
So
yeah,
he made,
yeah. First
yeah,
again is a very I speak to him almost on a daily basis over at on Steam Speak.
TeamSpeak,
Yeah, he's a very
yeah,
very good guy. And I don't want to switch the topics, but real quick to
uh
interject.
huh,
Um, he's not broke. Especially just on his account standards. And most people that I'm sorry, that's freaking plain. Most people that get to that height and that notoriety or money usually turn out to be snobs, and he's not like that at all. He'll talk to you if you have two steam power in your account. So if anybody out there, I have the Discord link in every one of my videos, on my posts. You guys can join the Steam Speak uh, Discord, so you guys can meet this guy Fristikin that we're talking about. All right, I didn't
yeah,
mean to
yeah.
interrupt you
Nah,
there.
nah, it's good. Give him a plug. He
Oh
deserves
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I agree. You know, I agree completely. He's such a great guy. And the amount of power that he has, he can. I remember, and I stumbled upon you because of his contest that he did with 50,000 steam power, and obviously we all know you won. And that's how I found you, and I was like, oh, you know what? I checked out your videos, which was pretty great. But yeah, um, a lot of people actually do. They go, well, I spend so much money on Steam, I can do whatever the hell I want. I mean, yes, you can, but it kind of makes you look like a dick. Sorry, my language. But yeah, so that back to what I was talking about. So I saw Rondo well, and I saw Booster, and I wanted to do something like that. Uh, I'm not into like big coding. I know some, and I'm still learning, which is good. But I stumbled upon Inertia's post about his bots and about his projects that he does, and I figured out that he actually is the one that created the bot for Booster. Um, so I contacted him. I asked him a couple questions. I set up my own bot. I got a server from some guy 123, the same guy that he's a witness. I think he's like rank 6 or 7.
Yeah, he
Another
runs.
great guy.
Yeah, he runs and on Steam.
Yeah, yeah. So I got a server from him, um, and then I used his service and on Steam to create Bellyrub. The reason I started Bellyrub is because I wanted it to. I mean, Booster's a good name, you know. Menu Booster's another good name. Anything that's to do with like Booster, you know, menu support, things like that. It's cool and all. It interacts with the Steamate community, but I wanted to do something different. Obviously, it's not different than Booster, but I wanted to have it like a different type of effect. You know, a belly rub. Um, I was gonna use a picture of my dog, she's a Doberman, you know, giving her a belly rub. But then I figured, for some reason, and it's all cryptocurrency, we see it as the ocean. You know, you got whales, you got minnows, you got sharks, you got whatever. And I guess it works out like that in Wall Street as well, where you have big whales with a bunch of money. So I went to the course with, it's supposed to be a dolphin. It's supposed to be a dolphin with a big belly, you know, belly rub. So my concept was, you know, you send Belly Rub a bid, which I call it a rub, you know, a belly rub, and he gives you back another belly rub with a boat. So that's why, you know, belly rub. I thought something, you know, something more than just generic, you know. And not like I said, I'm not trying to bag on Booster, but I wanted to be something more, I guess, more entertaining for people. You know, when they see belly rub, the name belly rub, and then you say, "Oh, you received a belly rub from so and so." That's how I started that. I wanted to be basically more entertaining. Now, obviously, I wanted to help out the community by giving them, you know, boosts on their posts and such. You know, the smaller people, giving them, you know, some incentive, you know, to continue posting. Um, and how it started off was the delegation that I got from the bot itself. I was paying out of pocket because it wasn't making any profit at the time. And the first person that I asked to delegate was Neoxin. You know, I'm probably saying his name wrong, but that guy, that's another guy you got to mention. He's out there helping the community. He's the guy that basically started the loan sharking Steam and SPDs. So I basically have all of his Steam power delegated to Belly Rub, and that's how it started basically. You know, to help out the people that were discouraged because of the bigger posts and the trending. You know, like I mentioned the training page earlier on. I wanted to people, you know, they I wanted to them to use Booster, which has a lot of steam power, and at the same time, you know, spend a little bit less steam back dollars for the exact same vote percentage. So vice versa. Um, that's the main reason. And out of pocket was coming out for me for the delegation at the time. And then I wanted to do something else on top of that. You know, I wanted to, because it was making a little bit more profit. You know, I introduced a belly rub bank where people can, you know, deposit their SPGs or their Steam to help out on the delegation of belly rub or any advertising or whatever, whatever it would be. Mostly it would be for delegation, and then they would basically get back, you know, 45% APR, annual percentage rate. So they were basically helping out the belly rub to get bigger, and at the same time to basically get a profit. And the reason I started that was because before, about a year ago or about a couple months ago, the Steamback dollars was under a dollar, and it's supposed to be pegged to a one US dollar, but it wasn't at the time. So the percentage rate was higher than it is now, which is zero. So if you have, you know, SBDs in your account, it's just sitting there. You know, yeah, you can use it whenever you want. It's your bank account. Do whatever you want with it, but it's not getting any interest. Right? It's not doing anything for you. So that's how I started, you know, the Belly Rub Bank. I had a little consultation with Neoxon to figure out, you know, what would be the best percentage, and you know, came out with 45% APR, which would turn out to be like 11%. So deposit some SBDs, help out the belly rub get bigger, and help out the community get bigger votes, and in return, obviously get your money back plus interest of the profits of the belly rub.
Yeah, that's what actually piqued my interest. is you guys. I think that's the biggest difference you guys have from everyone else. The mental support, the mental booster, the boosters, is that you guys have a system where people can send you guys SBD and receive a percentage uh, interest on their money more than what Steam is actually providing right now. Um, so yeah, that's definitely something that I think sets you guys apart. Now, what would you say if what to the people that are against the vote buying? What would you say to them?
To the people that are against vote buying, I basically, the way I see it is, you're promoting your post, you're advertising your post. You know, Steam it itself has a promotion tab on it where you can send SVGs and then it gets burnt away. That's less Steam, and then you get basically you get placed in the promoted tab, um, which we all know nobody really looks at this, you know. But the way I see it is, we're trying to make a decentralized platform, which I call it a decentralized society. You know, I'm not talking about if people buy a bunch of Steam power and they have 500,000 Steam power and they can upvote themselves and they can whatever. I mean, upvoting is different than buying the votes. But the way I see it is nobody's buying votes that are like over $50, $60. Everybody's getting a portion of for instance, Booster, his vote, the account's vote is $100. You're not gonna see somebody buy a vote from Booster and get $100 upvote. Um, that's the only way I can basically say it is they're promoting their page. You know, whether they're promoting something, something not quality content wise, that's on them. But at the same time, the community has a say to say, this is crap. We don't want it. But you know, that's on them. But the way I see it is vote buying is more like you're paying for advertisement on your post to get more views. Now somebody can say, well, you work hard, you kept pumping that quality content, you're gonna get known. Well, a lot of us don't really look at the new section where every 5 seconds there's a new post coming out, you know, and once in a while I go in there and check on some votes, because everybody's mostly the same, we all follow the money. But I do go in there and I do read some posts, and they're freaking better than the ones that are trending. You know, I'm probably getting a little bit personal here, but I mean,
No, it's okay.
somebody's gonna argue that vote buying is shameful, right? But at the same time, that person's not going up to the best post for that day, in reading and taking the time out of their day and reading it and voting it. They're going to stick with the trending page. They're going to stick with the people they know, So, I mean, the little guys, I mean, the, the voting system is a way where you can vote whoever you want. You can do whatever you want with your votes. And another incentive is now, because of the new hard fork, it actually encourages bots. Not so much as common bots or spam bots, but it encourages to interact with Steem's network, with Steam's network. Um, so my conclusion would be, the vote buying is more like an advertisement for your post until use it until you get noticed. After that, use it less and less and less. It's not meant to be constantly buying votes so you can keep getting, like that. It's more like get your content out so people actually notice you. Then that way you can start using them. It's more like a boost, like booster.
Yeah, okay, okay. I see what you're saying. So where do you see your project in the next 3 to 6 months? What goals have you set for the project, and which goals do you think you will actually realistically achieve?
Um, Well, the next goals would be obviously to acquire more steam power for the belly rub. Um, my goal actually for October was 400,000 steam power, and I'm almost there. So it's almost there, you know. It's a little bit over. But as far as the steam power, the whole goal of it would be to to the realistic goal would be to get over 800 steam power, um, and that's just the belly rub itself. I'm always trying to figure out other ways, to incorporate belly rub, to incorporate anything that has to do with steam to actually make it pop. Give it other services for other people. It's not just about vote buying. As soon as the new hard fork comes in, and it changes the whole system again, where vote buying is not so profitable, or it doesn't work anymore. Obviously, we're going to start changing the gears and start offering different services. I don't know what those services are at the moment. You know, that's where innovation comes in, where if there's a problem, we solve it, and then we go from there. Um, the realistic goal would be by by November, we would be getting about 500K of steam power. Another thing that a lot of members team is we put a cap on the bids. So, for instance, right now, Bailey Rubs is bid is $35. Let's say you got like 10 people placing bids, whatever, under 5 SPD, and then all of a sudden one person comes and drops in 20 SPDs. Well, that kind of kills the pop for everybody. So we're trying to figure out a way to to put a maximum, which seems kind of counterintuitive as the owner of Bellyrub, because why would I do that if somebody decides to put 20 SPDs, it's more profit for me, right? But that's not the point. The point is to give people boost. Yeah, the profit's nice and all, but it all goes back to the belly rub for the community. But I'm not in it for in the long run. It's not about money, because that's just to me, that's just short sighted. The community is what makes it grow, and if belly rub continues to provide the service without being greedy, it can go on for as long as steam is there. So the realistic goal as far as steam power would be 500K in November, putting a cap on for the maximum bids, as well as minimum bids, because if you're gonna throw in zero point 0.001 SBD, that makes the bot work harder, and it makes the calculations take longer, which is not. Then it turns out to be not 2.4 hours every time. It turns out to be 3 hours. So that's the main goals, and trying to see if we can tweak the bot a little bit, where it it. What I'm trying to say is I'm trying to have it as a vote bot, a bid bot, but at the same time do it where kind of like it starts to vote on its own content of the same similar, you know, not as like self voting for other posts, but I'm trying to figure out how we can go about finding content that is worth for people, basically, as in regards to trending. So, for instance, if you have King's Crown that made a post about whatever he makes a post about, he makes once a day, um, and everybody follows him because he has a boat show. Well, I want Bellyrub to basically look in the news section, look in Steven itself, and find content similar to King's Crown, and upvote that so other people with the same trending can actually get noticed as well.
Wow, that sounds really good. Um, I kind of wanted to say, I really think that the belly rub bank thing that you guys came up with, I haven't seen anybody else come up with anything like that. Um, how much focus are you guys giving to that aspect of belly rub?
Uh, for right now, it is part of Bellyrub itself, but the focus is I mean the focus is there, People send their SPDs or their Steam, and they share it with Bellyrub so they can get more delegation. Yeah, I are doing that at the moment. We're actually trying to figure out a way to do it automatically. So at the moment, we're actually doing it manually. We're doing all the calculations manually, and we have a spreadsheet where Bellyrub is going to be posting once a month with the deposits and the payments. But what we're trying to do with the Bellyrub Bank is have it automated, where obviously it would be another bot where, for instance, if you deposit SPD, with your memo, whatever 3 months or you have, and then the Bellyrub Bank would say, okay, this is what you deposited, and this is how much you'll be getting a month, you know. So it would be more like a notification where, okay, we noticed that you made a deposit, expect your first payment here, um, and like I said, if as soon as Bellyrub, gets bigger, the percentage wise is obviously going to get bigger. We want people to benefit from it. Um, the Bellyrub Bank is public. Anybody can do it. Anybody can send it. At the moment, there's a minimum of 20 SPDs because again, we're doing it manually. If you send, obviously, if you have one SPD and you want to deposit it to the bank, you can. But it'll take much more longer for us to calculate if we're getting hundreds of different from different people, one SPDs or whatever. But we're trying to um, make that more mainstream for Steemit, and at the same time make it more automated, where you know they won't have to be manual wise, where you can actually expect it. We did have it actually for every bi-weekly, but because people were depositing more at the same time at all these different dates, so for instance, if five people deposited today, they'll get a payment within 2 weeks, you know. But then if another person starts to deposit, a day before that first payment, we have to do the calculations. We have to prorate it. So we're trying to make it easier for the members. This is the pay date. If you deposit before 10 days, you get prorated and you get paid that same month. Um, so the focus is there. As far as making it bigger, as far as getting the percentage bigger, because a lot of people ask, it's 45%. Wow, that's a lot of money, but it's not 45%, because if it's 45%, there's nobody in the world that's going to pay you 45%, and I want everybody to know that it's 45% APR. If it was for a whole entire year, that's how much you would get. But it's not 45%, monthly, and it's not 45% every payment. So we're
Yeah,
trying
yeah.
to,
So an
yeah,
easy way for people to calculate that would just be 45 divided into 12, and that would be your monthly percentage, correct?
yeah,
Or
yes, correct, correct.
okay, so 3.75% a month. So, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm sorry, 11% for the 3 months. Yes, you're right. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah. I was talking about for the three. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
was looking at it on a monthly percentage, so people can kind of
yeah,
know. That's still more than what anybody would get at any bank. In, in
yeah,
in the in the real world nowadays, 3% a month is phenomenal. Um, it's not unheard of either because of all your crazy little lending platforms that they have with coins nowadays. But this is something that's stable. I think it's pretty good just to let your money grow if you're not using it.
yeah,
3.75% on your money is great.
yeah.
Um,
And one thing I do want to, because you mentioned it before. We all know about BitConnect. Um, I personally know. I personally know it's yeah. People are making thousands of dollars, every single day on it. But at the end of the day, we all know it's going to collapse. And the one main reason is because they mentioned they have a bot, right, trading back and forth, which a lot of platforms state they do. The difference between Bellyrub and them is we actually do have a bot. You actually can see it. It's obviously it's not trading cryptocurrency, but it's trading votes. You're trading votes for SBD, and that's profit. So The 3 point, the 3% that we pay a month is a profit coming from the deposits from the belly rub. So I do want to mention that belly rub is a bot that is trading not in a conventional way, but it is trading in boats and SVDs, and you are getting that profit. That just popped inside of my head because you mentioned it before about BitConnect. Um, yeah, I mean, you can't deny the fact that we do have a bot. It's on the blockchain, and I mean, the 3% is not is it's not really that high considering the amount of money the bot is making. Um,
But
and
it's
like I said,
still,
that's the,
you know what they say, something is better than nothing. I could have 20 SBDs sitting in my bank. I mean, sitting in my wallet for 3 months, and after 3 months, it's still gonna be 20 SBD. But with your program, I'll get 10% added on it, and that's what about two SBD, three SBD around there.
yeah,
So that's
yeah,
a gain. But I kind of want to wrap this interview up, and I just wanted to ask you one last question. A lot of
yeah.
my you people that watch my videos and follow my content on Steemit, a lot of them are brand new to crypto and Steemit itself. What would be your biggest uh, tip or advice you would give to people that are starting out on Steemit today?
What the biggest advice I would give them is if they have a job, 10% put it in Steam Power.
I'm glad you said
That's
that because that's always like my number one advice is buy Steam Power.
exactly 10% of your paycheck every time buy Steam Power because with Steam Power, put it this way: if you have if you have, let's say, 1,000 Steam Power, and you start upvoting, that Steam Power is going to grow. It's going to grow from the Steam value itself, and it's also going to grow with the creation that you have. So there's so much ways that people can make money off of Steam and off of Steam It, you know. So um, and Steemit is one of the easiest platforms to get into cryptocurrency because one, there is no fees. This is like one of the only cryptocurrencies that has no fees, which is great. It's easy to buy. You got block trades. Obviously, you buy Bitcoin the way you buy Bitcoin, but then you can transfer to Steemit. But that would be my one of my main points that I meet anybody is 10% goes into your Steam Power. You can buy more if you want. You know, I know people that are actually living off of Steemit, which is obviously one of our all many goals.
Hey,
Is to
I'm
to be a
actually
full time
making
Steemian.
I'm actually making a living on Steemit. My expenses aren't that much, and
Hmm.
Steemit has actually saved my life in a way because I lost my job 2 months ago, and I was already on Steemit, and I've been able to survive off of my SBD.
Nice. Yeah.
I mean, personally, I wish I wasn't living off of my Steemit right now
Hmm.
because I would just, my account would be so much bigger. I calculated if I never would have cashed out, I would have over 10,000 Steam power, within 4 months, just all by earning. That's another
Yeah.
way people can earn it. Post. Sometimes people ask me, oh, well, what should I post about? Or just it's try and try again, trial and error. Um, it's not necessarily throw as much shit as on the wall and see what sticks, but it's kind of that concept. Once you
Yeah.
see that you're starting to get rewarded for whatever certain pictures you do, okay, yeah, then stick to that lane. But
Yeah. 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 That's
I don't
that's
want to
that's
drag this
actually
interview on too long, and I definitely want to talk to you after the interview. But is
yeah.
there anything else you
One
want to
one of the
say?
thing one of the things that I do want to point out for Steemit really quick is be yourself. Be yourself. Whatever the hell you like to do, you know, use that on Steemit. Don't be somebody you don't want to be, because it's not going to come out good. But other than that, thank you for the interview, man. I really appreciate it.
No, I appreciate you taking the time. It probably went a little longer than I thought, but hey, hopefully everybody takes the time, sits down, watch this video, join the Bellyrub project and Bellyrub movement, and also join the Bellyrub Bank, because I think what you guys are doing here is very innovative and great. So yeah, thanks for showing up, and I'll link you to the post once it comes out.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Have yourself a good day.
All right, you too. Let me stop recording real quick.